Good morning, everyone. So, welcome to the video lecture series on control system engineering, module number 2, Mason's gain formula, part number 3. Today, we will see some of the problems related to signal flow graph, referring to the previous problem what we have solved related to signal flow graph. Similarly, we will take one more problem and we'll solve the problem related to the signal flow graph and try to understand in depth how to find the overall transfer function for the given signal flow graph. So it is necessary to know the basic concepts of the signal flow graph. Okay, so let us consider the one example. Okay, so in this example, the question asked here is find the transfer function for the given signal flow graph. Okay, so if you look at the signal flow graph here, okay, so this signal flow graph is represented by C of S divided by R of S. Okay, so many times it happens in the given question, this C of S and R of S will not be same. Sometimes they use X of S divided by Y of S. Okay, sometimes they take the alphabet, some other alphabet, what we have seen in the yesterday's class, like Y of Y1 and Y7. Okay, but the standard form of representation of transfer function is C of S divided by R of S. Okay, so let us consider one example here, the signal flow graph. So before starting your problem, always you label the given input terminals. Okay, so basically we have input represented by R of S. Okay, and we have one output, it is nothing but C of S. Okay, so it makes you simple to understand the concept regarding the signal flow graph. So input is R of S and output is C of S. The question here is you need to find the transfer function. They have not mentioned the word transfer function in the given question. So they have mentioned the formula for the transfer function, that is C of S divided by R of S. So let us find the transfer function. So applying all the basic rules, the basic properties of the signal flow graph to find the given transfer function, and very important formula here is the Mason's gain formula. Why this Mason's gain formula is used is just to find the overall transfer function for a given signal flow graph. Okay, so let us find the signal flow graph transfer function. So input is R of S, output is C of S. So here if you look at this signal flow graph, they have only shown the branch gain. Okay, like the branch between this point to this point is 1. Okay, and it is G1 here, G2 here, G3 here, G4 we have 1, and here it is G5, and the feedback paths are minus H1, minus H2 and minus H3. Okay, so sometimes it becomes a bit difficult to analyze the signal flow graph if you do not represent the node numbers. Okay, so let us represent the node numbers here. We'll start at this particular point. So that is RFS is already the input to this particular node, so we'll not take it. So let us take this as node number 1. Okay, then here we have node number 2. Okay, at this particular point we have node number 3. Okay, the node number 4 and node number 5. So in this signal flow graph we have total 5 nodes. Okay, so this is node number 1, this is node number 2, node number 3, node number 4, node number 5, and this is output, and this is particular input. Okay, so this we have labeled. The next step here is find the forward path. How to find the forward path is by the definition of forward path. A path or a node or a signal, it should start at one point and it should end at the other point. Okay, so the first forward path or the tracing of forward path will start from R of S node, point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, point 4, point 5 and C of S. So it's always in signal flow graph, the straight line represents your forward path, first forward path. Okay, so here in the signal flow graph, our first forward path is from R of S till C of S. So it starts from at R of S, okay, then at point number 1, 2, okay, then 0.3 going to 0.4, 0.5 and C of S. This is my first
Forward path.
forward path. So let us represent it by T1 is my first forward path. Okay, so similarly we may have the second forward path, will represent it by T2. Okay, so it will start from R of S,
G1, G5.
Like at point number 1, point number 2. Okay, now we cannot take point number 3,
Point number 5.
so directly it will go to point number 5 and the last is C of S. The last part is C of S. Okay, so in this problem we have only 2 forward paths. Okay, the remaining arrow which are going in this opposite direction, they are the feedbacks. Okay, they are feedback. So therefore the total number of forward path will represent the value of K. So therefore here the value of K is equal to 2. So in this way we take the value of K. Okay, so we have total how many Ks? K1 and K2. So based on this number K1 and K2, we will have this delta, okay, delta 1 and delta 2. So based on the value of this number, we will have delta 1 and delta 2. Okay, fine. So now this is these are the basic things we obtained from the signal flow graph. That is, the value of K is known, the total 2 forward paths are known. Okay, this forward path T1 and T2, they are just the flow of signal, but we should consider the gain of that particular forward path. Okay, so the gain of that particular forward path of T1 is nothing but the branch gain. Okay, so let us find the branch gain. So that is T1 is equal to, so simply you multiply the branch gain, that is nothing but the number between the 2 nodes. So here it is first forward path, it is a straight line, so it is 1 into G1 into G2 into G3 into G4. So therefore it is G1, G2, G3 and G4. One you can leave, okay, because anything multiplied by the number 1 is equal to the same number. Okay, so this will help you to trace the forward path, this T1. Okay, similarly go for finding the forward path number 2. So follow this rule. So that is, start from RFS 0.1, 0.2, 0.5 and 0.3 of S. So what is the gain with at RFS? It is 1. At 0.2, RFS is 1. At 0.2 we have G1. Okay, then between 0.2 to 0.5 we have G5. So it is, we have G1, okay, then G2 and G5. Okay, and G5. So this represents my forward path. Okay, now once you got K, you got the value of the transfer function. Okay, this is the actual value of the transfer function. What you are seeing here, T1 is equal to G1, G2, T2 is equal to G1 and G5, they are nothing but your forward path. Okay, actual forward path. Here the actual, this number will not come, that is repeatedly value of G1, so it is only G1. Okay, so I will write it once. So T1 is equal to, it is G1, G2, G3, G4, only G4. So T2 is equal to, it is G1 and G5. G1 and G5. Even if you write 1, no problem. Okay, fine. Then after finding the forward path, go for finding the loop. Okay, so the loop are represented by L1. Okay, so what is the first loop? Okay, so the loops represented by, okay, just see the loops. If you see the signal flow graph, here we have the first loop. Okay, this section you can see the small semicircle. The second loop is here. Okay, the third loop is here, and this is the upper loop. Okay, sorry, this is not the loop. Okay, because the arrow mark is in the forward direction, so therefore the G5 we cannot take it as a loop. Only the loops are represented by, this is first loop, second loop and the third loop. So let us separate all the loops. Here you can see we may have one more loop, I will show you that also. Okay, So here just clear it off. Okay, fine. So what is the loop? Let us find the loop here. Okay, so the first loop here is it start at this point. Okay, then point number this node, and coming back to this node. Okay, so the first node or the first loop is it start at this point. Okay, just see here, first loop is from this node. I will consider this node, okay, these three nodes is the first loop. Okay, so let us represent it by the first loop, that is L1. Okay, similarly we have L2 and we have L3 here. But if you observe very carefully, okay, if you observe very carefully, we cannot take this upper, the arc, as a loop. Only half of the arc cannot be taken as a loop. Okay, but we have one more loop which is a hidden loop here. So how to obtain that hidden loop is, you start from this point. Okay, this point, travel towards G5. Okay, start at this particular point, travel to G5. Okay, come back to G4. Okay, then move towards this particular point, that is G3 point, then come back to this point, that is again back to L1 point. Okay, so this is my another loop. So here you cannot see it more clear, you just look at these figures. Okay, so the first loop is this, that is with respect to L1, right? You can see one from here till here till here, then go back to H3. So let us find the value of L1, L2 and L3. So these are 4 loops we have. So therefore better we will represent it by one more number here. So that is L4. So let us take this as L4. Okay, this is L4. Fine. Then the various loops what we get here is this is L1. So L1 is nothing but you should multiply all the variables. So L1 is equal to minus G1 G2 H3. Okay, then what is L2? G2 G3 and minus H2. Okay, try to see this here in the signal flow graph. It start at G1 G2 along with H3, one loop. The second loop is G2 G3 and this H2, this small portion, this portion. Okay, the third loop is G4 minus H1. Okay, G4 and minus H1. This is the small loop. It's a very small loop. You can see which consists of only one G term. The other two loops consist of 2 G terms. Okay, and the last loop here is start at this particular point, G2 point, go towards G5. Okay, so between this node and this node we have a variable G5. Okay, then it will come at this particular point, means it will include my minus H1. Then from minus H1 point again it will come back to this point, so it is minus H2. So in this figure you can see here. Okay, so first loop, okay, second loop, third loop and fourth loop. So let us give the number here so that it will be more clear. So it is L1. Okay, so this is my L2, second loop, my L3, and this is L4. This is L4. So I got all the 4 loops. Okay, so just simply multiply the numbers here, that is G4 minus H1, you will find L3. Then G5 minus H1 minus H2, all together this becomes plus, because we have 2 minus signs in the feedback path. So minus of minus becomes plus. So minus H1 and minus H2 both together will become H1 and H2 multiplied by G5. Fine. So now I got all the 4 loops. So we have K, right? So let us represent here again to make it more simple. Okay, so we have the value of K, okay, which is equal to how much? It is equal to 2. Okay, is equal to 2. Fine. Then we have T1. T1 is equal to, it is G1 G2, G3 and G4. Then we have T2, the second forward path, which is G1 and it is only G4. Okay, so we have the L1. Okay, let us write that L1 so that it makes us simple for the comparison. L1 is minus of G1, G2 and H3. Okay, we have L2, that is minus G2, G3 and H2, and we have L3, which is equal to minus G4 and multiplied by H1, and the last loop here is L4, which is equal to G5, okay, H1 and H2. So I got all the basic requirement of the given signal flow graph. Once you find these all things, then you should find the non-touching loops. Okay, you should find the non-touching loops. Now here the concept of non-touching loops is very clear, that you should multiply or you should check the unsimilarity, or you can simply check whether if you compare the two loops, the variable should not get repeated. Okay, so let us compare them. Like first compare L1 with L2, but here in L1 and L2 G2 is common, so therefore L1 and L2 cannot be a non-touching loop. Okay, then compare L1 with L3. Okay, if you compare L1 with L3, okay, we don't have any variable repetition or repeating, so therefore L1 and L3 becomes non-touching loop. L1 and L3 becomes non-touching loop. How to write the non-touching loop? Simply multiply both. So what is L1? So it is G1, G2 and H3 multiplied by what is L3? It is G4 multiplied by H1. So both L1 and L3 are minus, so therefore this becomes plus. Okay, so we got the non-touching loops. Similarly, what is left now? You should compare L1 with L4 also, right? So if you compare L1 and L4, here are they same? This is G1, G2, this is H3, but here it is G5, H1 and H2, H1 and H2. But here the loops may touch to the node. Okay, how to check them is simply go for checking with respect to the signal flow graph. Okay, so you should be very careful in observing the touching loops, the non-touching loops. Okay, two non-touching loops, because we have a concept of two non-touching loops. Okay, three non-touching loops. Okay, so therefore be very careful in finding the touching loops and non-touching loops. Okay, so let us check for this here, because L1, if you see here, L1 I've compared with L2. Okay, the number are repeating. If I compare with L3, fine, the number are different. If I compare L1 and L4, we don't have any number which is repeating here. So therefore if I check with the node here, L1 and L4, where is L1? Okay, this is L1 and this is L4. In L1 and L4, okay, in L1 and L4, this point is repeating. You can check in L1 and L4, this particular point is repeating in the sense it is just getting overlap here, these two points, right? How to check them? Just go to the main signal flow graph. Okay, now you can see, correct? So here this node is considered this is my third loop, right? This is my last loop. So in this way it becomes again a bit of overlapping at the node number gets overlapped. Okay, so therefore with respect to 1 and 2, yes, they are touching. 1 and 3 they are not touching, but 1 and 4 they are touching. How? Because if you see, this is my fourth loop. In fourth loop the middle point is getting touched. That is nothing but between G1 and G2. The point is getting touched. The node is getting touched. It, in the sense, the loop is getting touched with the first loop. So therefore, the reason is we cannot take that particular loop as a non-touching loop. It should be exclusively non-touching. The loop should not even touch a single node, a single point. It should not touch. Okay, so you should be very careful while solving the problem. Okay, so therefore we cannot take that particular loop as a non-touching loop. Okay, so here I will explain it once more with respect to the signal flow graph. Okay, before going to finding the non-touching loops, just see here how to find the non-touching loop is check L1 with L2. Okay, if you check L1 with L2, okay, here even if you see the separate loop also fine, no problem. Okay, now check here, I have all 4 loops. Okay, I have 4 loops. Now in the 4 loops, you should check that the point should not be get repeated. The node should not be get repeated, or the point should not be get repeated. Okay, sometimes we check with even with respect to the branch gain also. Okay, so here in L1 and L2 you can see the G2 terms are repeating. Okay, so therefore I cannot take, because L1 is touching with L2, correct? This because this L1 and L2 here, just check here. See, this is my signal flow graph. I will just represent the number here, 0.1, 0.2, okay, and this is my third point, and this is my fourth point. Okay, fourth point I will make it one more, that is point number 5. Okay, the concept of non-touching loop says that the node should not touch, or the node should not come inside the loop. Okay, it should not even overlap. They should be exclusively separate. Okay, they should be exclusively separate. Okay, now you can see this is my first loop here. Okay, it starts from point number 1, point number 2, point number 3, then coming back to point number 1. So this is my first loop. Okay, so what is my second loop? It starts at point number 2, point number 3, point number 4, coming back to point number 2. Right, this is my second loop. Okay, the third loop here is, you can see point number 4, point number 5, and point number 4. 4, 5, 4 is the second loop. Okay, then the fourth loop here is point number 2, point number 5, point number 4, and coming back to point number 2. Okay, this is my fourth loop. Okay, I will make it more clear. Just look at here. Okay, I will write separately in terms of L1. So the first loop will start at point number 1, then it goes to point 2, it goes to point 3, and it will come back to point 1. Correct? See, then I'm writing the node number here. This is the first loop. The second loop is, it starts at point 2, point 3, point 4, and point 2 again. Okay, right? L3, that is third loop. In terms of node number, I'm telling in terms of node number. So what is the third loop here? It starts at point number 4, go to point 5, and come back to point 4. Third loop. I will take point number, that is L4. It starts at point 2, go to point 5, go to point 4, come back to point 2. Okay, now it will become more clear now. Okay, so which are non-touching in the sense the node should not touch. Okay, it means that the number in the loop here, it should not repeat. Now go for checking. If you compare L1 and L2, which numbers are repeating? 2 number is repeating, 3 number is repeating. So therefore L1 and L2 cannot be taken as non-touching loop. They are touching. It means they are touching. Touch ho raha hai, because number 2 and 3 are, they are touching. So therefore they cannot be taken. Compare L1 and L3. If you compare L1 and L3, all numbers are different, right? All the numbers are different. We have 1, 2, 3, here 4, 5. Okay, Now L1 and L3 becomes your non-touching loops. Okay, now compare L1 and L4. Okay, if you compare L1 and L4, the number which is repeating here is number 2, that is node number 2. So therefore L1 and L4 cannot be taken as non-touching loop. So therefore whenever you go for solving the problem, you do in this fashion, okay, or in this procedure, because if you adopt this procedure, it may become a bit difficult to understand. Okay, because if I compare L1 and L2, yes, G2 is repeating, leave. If I compare L1 and L3, nothing is repeating, I will consider. If I compare L1 and L4, nothing is repeating here, because the gain is different, so therefore people take L1 and L2 L4 and they take it as a non-touching loop, but that is completely wrong. Okay, so therefore from now onwards try to adopt this methodology. So therefore L1 and L3 are the only non-touching loops I have considered. Okay, similarly what you should do here is go for comparison of L2 and L3. If you compare L2 and L3, 4 is repeating, so therefore I cannot take L2 and L3 are non-touching loops. Compare L2 and L4, again the number 2 is repeating, number 4 is repeating, I cannot take L2 and L4 as non-touching loops. Case number 2. Then compare L3 and L4. So in L3 and L4, 4 is repeating, so that is the reason I will not even consider L3 and L4. So therefore from the loops, from all the 4 loops, only loop number 1 and loop number 3 are non-touching loops. Okay, now it is clear. Okay, so in this way we try to go for finding the non-touching loops in the given signal flow graph. Okay, so now once you get the non-touching loops here, okay, so what you should do, the next is go for finding the value of delta. Go for finding the value of delta, right? So how to find the value of delta is, the formula what we have is delta is equal to 1, okay, 1 minus, it should be always and always 1 minus, you start always from 1 minus. Okay, so how you should write it is like 1 minus all the loops, that is L1 plus L2 plus L3 plus L4, then plus the non-touching loops. Okay, so what is the formula here for the delta? Okay, so delta is equal to, okay, how to write the formula here is, it is 1 minus in the bracket. Okay, so how many loops we have L1, then plus L2 plus L3 plus L4. Afterwards put plus, don't put minus, it should be plus, then the non-touching loops. So non-touching loops are L1 and L3. So this is the formula for delta. So once you find the formula for the delta, now simply substitute the value of L1 from here, value of L2 from here, value of L3 from here, and value of L4 here, and substitute the value of L1 and L3 in this particular formula. So if you substitute all the values of L in this value of delta, then you will get the value of delta here, which is represented by this formula. You can see here we got the value of delta. Okay, so here you can see this is my delta value. Okay, so this is my delta value. So once you got the value of delta, just apply the Mason's gain formula, but before that you should find the delta 1 and delta 2. Okay, here is a bit confusing here. Okay, just a minute. How to find the value of delta and delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3. So I will be telling how to find the value of delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3 in my next class.